Next, I hate to say this, but Olivia looked so pathetic in all of this. Y'all know that song, Jolene? I think it's by Dolly Parton. If it's not, don't clock me in the comments. But we were literally watching that song in real time.
Jolene, 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 please don't steal my man.
Hi everyone, my name is Dimitri and welcome back to DimitriTube. Bachelor in Paradise, night 7. Let's talk about it. As always, if you're enjoying my videos, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. I'm a growing YouTuber and the likes and subscribes really help me out. So just one quick thing before we get started. I am so tired of Olivia as the narrator. Like, why is she the only one with charisma this season? I just don't understand. And I'm really starting to miss Sean. Like, I didn't love Sean's character, but it was nice to have him narrate as well as Olivia. Like, it just kind of changes things up a bit and it makes the pacing better for the show. And I don't have anything against Olivia, and I'm glad that she's bringing some storylines to the show, but she just does a little too much for me. Okay, that's all I got. Let's dive into the review. So Charity and Eliza are having a one-on-one, and Charity explains what happened to her after she finished filming for her season of The Bachelorette. So apparently after filming, Charity was bombarded with messages from Aaron's ex-girlfriend. Apparently Aaron was dating this girl, but didn't break up with her before leaving for Charity's season. And Charity very much says this is nothing like him. This is not like the Aaron she experienced on her season of The Bachelorette. Sorry, y'all, bear with me one second. I'm trying to figure out, there's this, y'all see this light coming in? It looks like I'm telling like a scary story at the campfire or something. Oh wait, oh, that's kind of cool. Sorry, so I have this like window right here and the sun is like slowly setting, but the light is coming in pretty bright under me and it's like bouncing off my notebook, making that like campfire light effect. Sorry, I was looking at like what I look like and it's very distracting. I'm just gonna have to move the notebook. Anyways, after that, Charity goes to talk with Aaron, and I thought this was so pointless. Like, it's kind of Eliza's responsibility to suss out Aaron, so I don't understand why Charity is going to talk to him. Like, girl, it didn't work out with him, you broke up with him, you got some tea on him, just tell that to Eliza and just see how she reacts. After that, Aaron has a one-on-one with Eliza, and he explains that she is just a disgruntled ex and she's firing off on social media, and Eliza believes him and they kiss and hug and make up after. Okay, so let's unpack this. The first person I want to talk about in all of this is Charity. Charity is messy, and she proves she is very messy on this episode. First red flag, Charity is friends with Kat. Y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and call a spade a spade. Kat is a little messy, and y'all are watching the season, you've seen it. And the fact that Charity is friends with her leads me to believe that Charity's probably a little messy too. Next red flag. Charity has an entire fiance, and yet she is on this beach trashing one of her exes. Like, sis, what are we doing? So if y'all didn't know, Paradise was filmed pretty much immediately after Charity's season of The Bachelorette, and I'm not gonna look up the exact timelines, but basically Charity's season of The Bachelorette was filmed in March to like late April, I believe, and then Paradise was filmed in June, and then Charity's season actually started airing on television like that late July. So Charity couldn't wear her engagement ring. Like, none of the contestants knew the outcome of her season. And due to her contract, I think Charity could not tell people that she's engaged, but I'm sure her like super close friends knew. But overall, she can't talk about her engagement or anything because her season has not aired yet. But as an audience, we all know she's engaged, and Charity herself knows she's engaged. And as an engaged woman, she should not be talking trash about her previous exes. That's just not a good look. Next, if you made it this far in the video, please go ahead and pound that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Next red flag. So Charity got on Twitter and said, "You ask me a question, I answer truthfully. If not, I mind my business. Simple. Hashtag Bachelor in Paradise." And that is not true. Charity, you elected to tell Kat about all the men she should look out for on the beach. You elected to tell this information, and Kat even says that in the bathroom to Eliza on the previous episode.
He's my best friend. So Charity proceeded before I came in here to obviously tell me about a few things that she wanted me to know.
And it's possible that Kat specifically asked Charity about Aaron. Like, we can't prove it, but I highly doubt it, because the way Kat explained it in the confessional, it's just like Kat was like who to look out for, and then Charity just spilled it all about Aaron. I have no problem with you spilling tea with your girlfriends. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't get on Twitter and act all high and mighty and be like, oh yeah, I mind my own business, when you clearly don't. Next, let's talk about Aaron and Eliza. So I've mentioned this before, this constantly happens. The male contestants on this show constantly have disgruntled exes who come out of the woodwork as soon as the male contestants come on this show. Now, personally, I don't believe every single person that just randomly slides in my DMs. And I hate that the show is starting to do this frequently now. They just trust some random source that slides in their DMs. Like, I'm really tired of these storylines. And when it comes to Aaron, this is just what I think personally. I kind of think everyone gets 1 or 2 passes, because I've heard a lot of disgruntled ex stories from men and women. So if Aaron is going to Eliza like, yeah, my ex is toxic and she's disgruntled, okay, this time I'm gonna believe it. But if Aaron came to Eliza and he said 4 or 5 of his past relationships were toxic and the ex was disgruntled, then I'm not gonna believe it. I would start to think, why does this continually happen? Like, if it happens 1 or 2 times, okay, whatever. But if it's a continual thing, then either he's the problem or he doesn't know how to pick women who are not toxic. And then when it comes to Eliza, you're either gonna believe him or you're not. Take your pick. And this is the perfect example of why so many of the relationships from this show just don't work. After you go on this show, just the sheer amount of people who insert themselves into your relationship and critique your relationship, it's difficult. And it very much sows a distrust in the contestants who come on this show. And if Eliza does end up staying with Aaron, in the back of her head, she's gonna have a little bit of distrust to him due to this girl randomly sliding in Charity's DMs. And last thing I want to say about this, the next day, I think, after all of this was hashed out, Aaron sent Eliza her breakfast order and he attached a love note with it. And I thought that was so cute. And I wish we got to see more of this. I love when the contestants set up mini dates or like mini gestures like this. And I wish we got more of them. Now we're moving on to Blake and Jess. So they have a one-on-one and Jess tells Blake, I missed you and I've been really in my head about you being on a date with Jen. Girl. And then Jess tells Blake, I miss the compliments and I miss hanging with you. And then Blake responds, you're the only person here that I want to be with. In this moment, Jess was just so immature to me because she was in her head about Blake going on a date with Jen, but at the same time, she had her tongue down Tyler Norris's throat. And it's just like, we're not gonna address how you possibly made Blake feel when you were kissing Tyler Norris while he was away on this beach. Because I'm sure it was the same way you felt about him with Jen. And what makes this worse is Blake is gonna watch this back. Are these contestants forgetting that everybody's gonna watch this back? But also, I'm not mad at Jess's behavior because if ABC plays their cards right, this could be a really good after the final rose. And this is just my opinion. If Jess and Blake leave the beach together, I'm pretty sure they are not gonna last. Like, I just don't see them staying together. Jess is just a little too immature. And not only is she immature, but I also feel like she would rather have someone who's a bit closer to her age. Like, I just don't see her having a relationship with someone who's like 8 years older than her. And like, Blake is a great guy, but I feel like outside of the show, he's a kind of guy who's like stuck in his ways. And that will probably annoy Jess when they get to the real world. But if we look to the stars, Jess is an Aquarius and Blake is a Leo, and that's actually a pretty good match. They're gonna fight a lot because there's just a lot of passion between those two signs, but according to the stars, they're a really good match. So I don't think they're gonna stay together, but according to the stars, they will. So we'll just have to wait and see. And before we move on, just one real quick word about Genevie. So I felt kind of bad for her when Blake said he was all in on Jess. I was like, dang, what about Genevie? But Paradise is slowly coming to a close, and just when you get on the beach this late in the game, like, your chances just aren't very good. And just one more quick thing about Genevie. Can we talk real quick about her baby hairs? So I'm not going to drag her because I really don't know that much about hair, but I will say the baby hairs on her forehead were like really bothering me. Like on the side, it looked fine, but on the forehead, it was like she had her hair and then a space and then the baby hairs. And I just feel like there's room for improvement there. Like, could she not talk to Eliza and work something out? Next, let's talk about Tanner. And I don't know if y'all caught this, but I love when people get more comfortable in paradise. And Tanner was definitely getting a little more comfortable. He was having a kiki with, I believe, Eliza, Olivia, and Aaron. And all of them are talking about Kat and how she's flirting with John Henry. And Tanner at one point is referring to Kat and says she is a problem. And when he said that, it was very jarring for me because so far, Tanner to me has just been very boring. Like, yes, he's super hot, but his personality is like pretty boring to me. So for him to be a little messy like this, like it was jarring to see. But also at the same time, please get comfortable on camera. I want to see more of this. This is what we don't get enough of. Get comfortable and just say what's on your mind. We need more of this on this show. So after that, we go to the cocktail party and Tanner is definitely channeling the famous Rihanna album, Good Girl Gone Bad, and he has turned into the good boy gone bad. He is now the king of paradise and everybody wants a piece of Tanner. He's flirting with Davia, Genevie, and Rachel, and us as an audience, we didn't even know that things were going south with him and Davia. So Tanner has a one-on-one with Rachel, and y'all, I hate to say it, but this one-on-one was so cute, and Rachel delivered. And y'all know I cannot stand Rachel, but I will give her kudos. She delivered in this one-on-one. Rachel's approach was absolute fire. She had some champagne with Tanner. They had a little bit of casual conversation. She gave him a few compliments and then she went in for the kill and told him she's interested in him. Like, it was a perfect setup. And this made me so mad because y'all know I wanted to see her go home, but she really delivered on this one-on-one. And one more sidebar about Tanner. I loved his shirt this episode. This was very edgy and I wasn't expecting it from him. I feel like his sister probably picked this out or he borrowed it from one of the other guys on the beach or something. Like, I really don't think he chose this shirt himself. Okay, now let's talk about the main event, the Olivia, John Henry, and Kat love triangle. So I don't know if y'all caught this at the beginning of the episode, but Olivia was having a one-on-one with Wells at the bar, and she's referring to John Henry, but she says, I'm giving him all the power in the relationship, and I don't normally do that. And I was just very surprised that this made the final cut. Now, when it comes to power dynamics and relationships, you just have to find out what works for you. In some relationships, the man wears the pants. In other relationships, the woman wears the pants. Some relationships, it's equal. And then other relationships, it ebbs and flows just like the seasons. You just have to find what works for you. But just know, if you talk about this on social media, if your relationship is anything but equal power dynamics, you will get dragged. Anyways, back to Olivia. So Olivia feels like she's giving all the power to John Henry and she doesn't like that. And I immediately thought, maybe he's just not the right man for you, girl. And if Olivia wants to wear the pants in the relationship, there's nothing wrong with that. But she needs to understand, if that's what she wants, John Henry is likely not the guy for you. Because now you're giving him all the power and you feel vulnerable and it's very clear you don't like that. So then later on, John Henry and Olivia are having a one-on-one and John Henry is basically explaining to Olivia that he's going to continue to talk to Kat. And he says, Kat is showing me a whole new side of her that I haven't seen before. I don't want to judge her off Brayden and I don't want to judge her off Tanner. And I was completely okay with this because we need storylines. And the point of paradise is to explore relationships. So yes, John Henry, explore further with Kat and see how it goes. So after that, but like earlier in the episode, we keep getting scenes from Kat, and y'all, Kat is just so this episode. She is determined to make out with someone, more specifically John Henry. And overall, Kat is just hamming it up this episode. She is determined to steal Olivia's man, and it's just great television. And also, let me know what y'all thought of this in the comments. So multiple times Kat said Tanner doesn't open mouth kiss, Tanner doesn't tongue kiss, or whatever. What did y'all think of that? So just a heads up, I feel like if the genders were reversed, if a man were to say something like that, he would get dragged by social media. Like, let's just say Tanner complained about one of the women saying, oh, she doesn't tongue kiss, and was complaining to the other male contestants that one of the women doesn't tongue kiss. I feel like social media would obliterate him. Also, some people in general just don't care for kissing that much. I'm guessing Kat really likes it and Tanner may not like it as much. So that's just another sign y'all probably just weren't a match. Anyway, so after that, Wells opens the truth box again and reads off one of the messages, and it says, John Henry, meet me at the hot tub at midnight. I'm absolutely here for this. Kat is playing the game and she is pulling out all of the stops. Like I said earlier in this review, I love when the contestants do this. I love when the contestants create mini dates or these like little gestures for other contestants. And it's very clear to me, Kat hit up one of the producers and said she wants one-on-one time with John Henry and she would prefer Olivia not to know about it. And they set it up. And I love that she did that. This is the approach that you should have. Instead of Olivia going to John Henry and being like, yeah, you're my number one. Instead of doing that, try to set up a little date. To me, that speaks more than you just saying, oh yeah, you're my number one. And also, I wish we got more of these like mini dates and gestures from the men in general on this show. So John Henry and Kat get a little bit of hot tub time. They have a conversation. Kat basically tells John Henry she's interested and all in on him, and John Henry shows some interest back. After that, Olivia pulls Kat for a one-on-one, and I was 100% team Kat in this argument. Olivia pulls Kat and she tells her, I feel disrespected. Don't parade like you're a girl's girl and then don't talk to me. I don't want you to use a stand-up guy like John Henry. Kat responds, I haven't developed a friendship with you that I feel like I needed to come to you. And then Olivia responds and puts her hand in her face and then just walks away. So I understand Olivia was upset, but she was dead wrong in all of this. This was just so immature. Olivia confronted her, and then when Kat responded to her, she didn't like the answer. So then she put her hand in her face and walked away, which is just so immature. Olivia, you pulled Kat in the first place. You could have just stayed in your lane and not talked to her at all. Next, I hate to say this, but Olivia looked so pathetic in all of this. Y'all know that song, Jolene? I think it's by Dolly Parton. If it's not, don't clock me in the comments. But we were literally watching that song in real time.
Jolene, 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 please don't steal my man.
Olivia was basically begging / this was her last ditch effort to try to get Kat to not steal her man. And I'm sorry, y'all, it was just so pathetic to watch. Next, I love how Kat responded to her question. I haven't developed a friendship with you that I feel like I needed to come to you. I say this all the time. This is not America's Next Best Friend. Kat is playing the game. She doesn't feel the need to be friends with everyone on this beach. And if anything, that's a smarter tactic. And Kat was basically like, girl, we're not friends. If I'm interested in John Henry, I don't have to come to you. And Olivia did not like hearing that answer. After that, we finally move on to the rose ceremony, and my first thought was, enough with the body glitter. So during the rose ceremony, Becca goes missing and Jesse Palmer has to go find her, and she ends up leaving Paradise. And all of this was just so extra. And she says she left Paradise because she's doubting her relationship with Brayden. And this was just so unserious. Like, girl, you have been here, what, maybe a day and a half, and you have to make a full-on decision of whether or not you're into Brayden? Like, it's not even that serious. Just stay on the beach and keep dating him and see how it goes. Y'all literally only had one date. Next, if we have another season of Paradise, we need to not have these day one send homes anymore. It's annoying me. Like, Becca's storyline was annoying. Sam's storyline was also annoying. Like, these day one send homes, they don't really need to come back to the franchise from what I've seen. Now, the first upset that I want to mention during the rose ceremony is Tyler chooses Mercedes. And when he chooses her, he says, Mercedes, you will always make me happy. And the only thing I could think was Mercedes making you happy when you had your tongue down Jess's throat? And editing really screwed over Mercedes, because during that moment we got a confessional with Mercedes and she was so happy to get a rose from Tyler, and she just looked like an absolute clown, because us as an audience, we all know Tyler made out with Jess like not too long ago. But as an audience, it seems like Mercedes doesn't know that that happened. And this is just another reason why, if ABC plays their cards right, the After the Final Rose this season could be very good. The next upset is Tanner chooses Rachel. I wanted Rachel to go home so bad, but She had a great date and she got saved. Good for her. Next, John Henry chooses Kat, and I was so excited about this because we need more storylines, and I really want a juicy tell-all, so John Henry picking Kat was the right choice. Also, production was so messy for putting Kat and Olivia right next to each other during this rose ceremony. And for the last upset of the night, Brayden ends up giving his rose to Olivia, and it was very much a pity rose because it was clear Brayden would have given his rose to Becca, but she left. So he ended up giving it to Olivia, and he even says, I feel like this woman deserves another chance at paradise. And let me know below in the comments what y'all think about these pity roses. I don't really like the pity roses. It's just not a good look. Like if I was Olivia, I would have just taken the L and said paradise wasn't for me and I would just roll out. But also I get why she stayed because at this point paradise is almost over. So maybe she should just stay anyway. Also, yes, Olivia, you got a rose now, but now you have to sit around and watch John Henry and Kat flirt with each other all day. So yes, staying in paradise, you have a chance to meet someone else, but also you have to watch your ex enjoy himself in paradise. And then after the rose ceremony, there's two final things I want to mention. So John Henry pulls Olivia for a one-on-one to apologize for not talking to Olivia after his hot tub time with Kat. And I thought this whole conversation was just pointless. This is just my opinion. This season, everyone is all like, you gotta have a conversation, more conversations, more conversations. But to me, John Henry choosing Kat during the rose ceremony is conversation enough. He didn't need to have a conversation with Kat after the hot tub and be like, oh yeah, by the way, time in the hot tub with Kat went well, so I'm gonna choose her. Like, that conversation wouldn't have made Kat feel any better. And last thing to wrap up the review, so at the end of the episode, Michael comes to the beach and pretty much the whole beach is rooting for him to choose Olivia for a date. And at one point, Kat has a confessional and she says, I hope Michael goes on this date with Olivia because then Olivia is gone. I died when Kat said that because if you go on a date, I'm pretty sure you're gone all day because you have to film, but it's just so funny that Kat said that. Kat really just does not rock with Olivia, and the fact that she's so vocal about it, I'm here for it. And that is the end of the episode and the end of this review. If you enjoyed this review, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one. Bye.